this has to be the most useless head coaching change I've ever seen. This is like going from a Honda Civic to a Honda Accord. Not much of a difference. Same type of vehicle. Mike McCarthy has become the new head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers after Mike Tomlin literally, stepped down. And these two guys are so similar that they literally have the same first name. The only difference is one is a little bit more heavy offensive and the other one is a bit more heavy defensive. But they have the same career. They've got the same kind of record. They've got the same type of culture. They are both amazing regular season head coaches. Look at this. Look at this right here. Mike Tomlin, 19 seasons, he has a bit of a better win rate in the regular season. They both have similar playoff records. At least Mike McCarthy isn't below 500 like Mike Tomlin. They both have won the division 8 times, and they both have won Super Bowl. These two guys are so similar that it is literally flabbergasted. And the thing is, we should have seen this long ago because we all know the Pittsburgh Steelers, are going to be reliant on a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers to come back, or else they're going to have to run it with Will Howard or Mason Rudolph. And what is more likely to get you 9 wins? Aaron Rodgers at 42 years of age. And they said, Mike Tomlin was somebody that, Rodgers wanted to play with. They got him. They said, all right, Tomlin doesn't want to coach next year. Who is Aaron Rodgers going to want to play for? Well, it's Mike McCarthy, who we won a Super Bowl with. And it makes no sense because nothing in Dallas really moved me from Mike McCarthy for me to say, yeah, man, this guy needs to be a Steeler head coach. No, it's time to rebuild. But we have an owner who's an absolute imbecile. Yes, because he wants to contend for a championship every year. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not contended for a championship for like 12 years. It's been since 2017-2016 season since the Pittsburgh Steelers won a playoff game. You have to win a playoff game to be able to even be considered a contender in the playoffs. You might as well say the Carolina Panthers this season were contending on the Super Bowl. You might as well say the Pittsburgh Steelers were contending in a Super Bowl. Dropping 6 points in a wild card game and then letting the opponent score 30 points on you is not contending. That is being a loser. A loser. So the thing is, if the Pittsburgh Steelers do not want to rebuild and they bring in another Mike who's going to get you 9 wins. Wow. The Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, if you weren't with us when we had 10 wins, you better not be there when we get 9. All right? When we get 9 and we sneak into that 7th spot and get blown out by the Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Texans, whoever it may be, Patriots, Broncos, in the wild card game when we lose 35-14, you better not hop on the championship contending bandwagon, baby, because that's what's going to happen. You're either going to win 9 games and miss the playoffs or another 10-win season and you're going to make the playoffs and get absolutely humiliated, but at least Art Rooney got the seats filled up, it's semi-competitive. It's pathetic. It's genuinely pathetic, this, hiring process. And it's like he doesn't believe in, I'm not sure why waste a year of your life and not trying to contend. Well, because you've wasted 10 years already. We haven't won a playoff game in 10 years, Senor Rooney. And you're over here telling me, let's not waste one bad year. Let's not get the number 1 overall pick and then be able to contend for 10 years and actually win playoff games. No. F that. That's not going to fill up seats. That's not going to give me revenue. How am I going to be able to fill up my pockets? That's literally what he's saying. He'd rather, right, if they told him, look, man, next season, you win 3 games. You're going to have half the revenue that you did last year. But you're going to get the 1st overall pick. You're going to get Arch Manning. And then you're going to be able to contend for a Super Bowl and actually win playoff games. He's going to say, F that. I'd rather get 9 wins, get the same amount of revenue, get blown out in the wild card, and that's going to be a success because that's literally what this hiring process is. He's literally spit in the face of every single Pittsburgh Steelers fan with this hire.